In the name of Allah, good evening and welcome to this hour's news. I am Suleiman Talash. Maulavi Abdul Kabir, political deputy of the Prime Minister, met with Takayushi Kuromiya, Japanese ambassador to Kabul. During the meeting, Mr. Kuromiya appreciated the Islamic Emirates' serious fight against drugs, adding that his country has announced $10 million to fight this phenomenon with Afghanistan. He added that the Japanese government plans to allocate $300,000 for the National Museum in Kabul in the first step to protect Afghanistan's historical heritage and monuments. On the other hand, the political deputy of the Prime Minister, while welcoming Japanese assistance in various sectors, called relations between Kabul and Tokyo important and beneficial to both countries, and expressed hope for early implementation of the commitments of the third meeting in Doha. Maulavi Abdul Salam Hanafi, administrative deputy of the Prime Minister, met with a number of elders and personalities of Faryab province. In this meeting, participants expressed satisfaction with the achievements of the Islamic Emirate in various fields, adding that a lot of positive things have been done in Afghanistan, which is undeniable. In contrast, the administrative deputy of the Prime Minister stated that the Islamic Emirate tries to provide better services and special welfare to the citizens of the country and take positive steps towards the prosperity and progress of Afghanistan. The Islamic Emirate once again calls on the United Nations to remove the sanctions imposed on the officials of the Islamic Emirate as soon as possible. The deputy spokesman of the Islamic Emirate says that the sanctions are cruel and have prevented Kabul from interacting with the international community. On the other hand, some political analysts believe that the sanctions will have a negative impact on relations between the Islamic Emirate and the international community. More details in report.
The Islamic Emirate once again calls on the United Nations to remove unilateral sanctions against the Islamic Emirate officials. The deputy spokesman of the Islamic Emirate says the sanctions have had a negative impact on the Kabul's relation with the international community.
The sanctions and restrictions imposed on Afghanistan are cruel. The United Nations and the Security Council and other countries must end the sanctions and restrictions imposed on Afghanistan and the leaders of Islamic Emirate.
Earlier, Zabiullah Mujahid, the spokesman of the Islamic Emirate, said that the name of 24 officials of the Islamic Emirate were still on the blacklist of the United Nations and the European Union. Mr. Mujahid called not removing the names of the Islamic Emirate officials from the blacklist is against the Doha Agreement.
The continuation of sanctions against 24 members of the leadership of the Islamic Emirate actually hinders interaction in the international arena. When countries think that it isn't an undisputed power in Afghanistan, the Islamic Emirate exists, and they should increase their interactions with the Islamic Emirate.
On the other hand, some political analysts believe that the sanction will have a negative impact on the relations between the Islamic Emirate and the international community.
The sanctions and punishments that they have imposed on the Islamic Emirate should be removed as soon as possible to create the ways of negotiations, the way of dialogue relations, so that international community and the United Nations reach an understanding with the Islamic Emirate and the people of Afghanistan.
Earlier, Maulavi Abdul Salam Hanafi, the administrative deputy of Prime Minister, had also called for the removing of sanctions against the Islamic Emirate officials in a meeting in Kabul.
103 officers of the Central and Field Corps of the Ministry of National Defense graduated from the Hazrat Abdullah bin Masood Training Headquarters after receiving professional training. In this ceremony, the officials, while congratulating the graduated officers, said that Mujahideen should carry out their responsibilities in the ranks of the Islamic National Army bravely and with good intentions. The Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock announced the purchase and collection of wheat from farmers in Balkh, Saripol, Faryab and Kabul provinces by the collection committee. The spokesperson of the ministry says, according to the decree of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah, in order to support farmers and reduce the price of wheat, the purchase of wheat from farmers is practically going on across the country. More details in report.
The efforts of the Islamic Emirate to reduce wheat prices and support farmers in the country. The Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock says, according to the decree of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah, supporting farmers and reducing wheat prices in the country's market, the wheat collection committee has been able to purchase wheat from the farmers at fair prices in Balkh, Saripol, Faryab and Kabul provinces.
In order to implement the decree, committees have been formed to buy the extra wheat from the farmers, and they always go to the fields and buy the extra wheat there.
Meanwhile, the spokesman of the ministry said that after the completion of the collection process, the purchased wheat will be stored in standard silos and warehouses in the center of the provinces.
In some provinces, we have standard warehouses, and some provinces, we keep them in silos. The silos and warehouses are built according to international standards. And in the provinces where we have warehouses, we also place them according to international standards.
On the other hand, farmers in the country welcome the implementation of the decree of the Islamic Emirates led by the Ministry of Agriculture to purchase wheat and demanded more support from the Islamic Emirate to solve their problems.
The Islamic Emirate buys wheat from the people and offers it back to the people at an affordable cost when needed. This is a big assistance. We are very happy about it. This is a support for farmers, and there are many benefits in it. And it should be done in the future too. This is a big help. The poor farmers have nothing. For example, they don't have a lot of money. Like foreign wheat that comes, it is expensive. So, it is his own wheat. The government keeps it and then gives it back to them at a cheap price. So there is no greater help than this.
This is why, according to the decree of Amir al-Mu'minin Hafazahullah, 38,800 metric tons of wheat from farmers across the country will be purchased by the Islamic Emirate and stored in silos in the same province or zones. The wheat collected is returned to the market in times of emergency or price rises to control wheat prices.
And the final one is that the Kabul municipality says that the most of the projects planned for Kabul this year are being implemented and have provided employment opportunities for a number of citizens. Economists also say that the government can provide more jobs for citizens by supporting the private sector. More in the report. Efforts of municipality officials for the development of Kabul city. The Kabul municipality has planned more than 160 different projects for the development of Kabul this year, including the construction and development of roads in the city. This is the Abdul Haq Avenue in the 9th zone, which connects Kabul to the eastern provinces and the neighboring country, Pakistan. The narrowness of the road sometimes causes traffic accidents. Recently, municipality has entrusted the construction and development to a road construction company.
This project is 9 kilometers long and 6 meters wide, from Abdul Haq Avenue to Tang Ghafoor area. The both sides are being contracted. This route is 30 meters wide. It has a sidewalk. There is a stream and there is a grass strip. There are many facilities in this project because the workers are busy. People got jobs. unemployment ended, and are forbidden from going abroad. So, there are many facilities in these projects. When the project starts, all the people are busy with their work.
Every construction company has created job facilities for citizens. A number of workers working on the project say that neighboring countries were built by Afghan migrant youth, and now it is the time for young people to work for the prosperity of their own country.
Yes, there was unemployment. We see that this project went well for youth because all around 70, 80, 9 or 100 people were engaged. It is a matter of great pride for us. The government can support the private sector by providing a suitable environment for investments that a private sector can invest in to create a better working environment for the youth and the country.
However, a number of citizens are although optimistic about the construction and development of roads, complain about the slow pace of work by construction companies.
This is the public road of the Eastern Zone. The work should be done soon, so that the traffic crowd will be reduced and the people will be comfortable.
However, the Kabul municipality insists on the quality of the projects entrusted to the private sector and their completion on time.
The duration of this project is 20 months. And according to the schedule, Alhamdulillah, we are going well. And the companies want to finish this project soon. But we focus more on quality. Allah forbid that we lose quality for speed.
According to Kabul municipality officials, construction of road projects is currently underway in most areas of the city. That's all for tonight. We will be back with more news updates. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you so much.